What toxic family tradition did you break that cost you everything? In my family, the youngest child never leaves home, ever. For 6 generations, the youngest has stayed to care for aging parents until they die, then inherits everything while the older siblings get nothing. My grandmother passed at 94 with my aunt by her side. It's an honor, my parents always said. The youngest gets rewarded for their sacrifice. I watched my older siblings escape one by one. My sister moved to California for college and never came back. My brother enlisted in the military the day he turned 18. Only I remained, the chosen one, the family caretaker. When my brother got married, he pulled me aside at the reception. "You don't have to do this," he whispered, guilt heavy in his voice. I forced a smile. Someone has to carry on the tradition. But inside, I was screaming. I was 16 and already felt the invisible chains tightening around my ankles. I became the perfect youngest child. Straight A's, but only at the local community college. No dating because relationships distract from family duties. I watched my friends leave for universities while I stayed home, learning to cook my mother's recipes and manage my father's medications. I met Sarah at the hospital during one of Dad's checkups. She was a nurse, and when she smiled, something inside me cracked open. For months, we were just friends, grabbing coffee between her shifts. I never told my parents about her. How could I explain that I was falling in love when my life was already planned out? When Sarah got offered a position in Seattle, she asked me to come with her. I wanted to say yes so badly it physically hurt. Instead, I shook my head. I can't leave my parents. That night at dinner, my mother collapsed. Heart attack. As I rode in the ambulance, holding her hand, she whispered, "Promise me you'll never leave us. Promise me you'll keep the tradition alive." I promise. She survived, but barely. The doctor said she needed constant monitoring. "Good thing you're here," my father said. "We couldn't do this without you." I nodded, feeling the walls of my future closing in. Sarah waited 6 months for my answer. When I finally called to tell her I couldn't leave, the silence stretched forever. "I understand," she finally said, but I could hear her heart breaking through the phone. "I'll always love you." The line went dead. 2 years passed. My mother's health stabilized, but the fear kept me trapped. Then my father had a stroke. "See," my mother said, "this is why the tradition exists. We need you." That night, I found Sarah's number in my old phone. She'd moved to Seattle, gotten promoted, was dating someone new. I stared at her photos until my eyes burned. She looked happy, free. The breaking point came during my cousin's wedding. I was 28, still living in my childhood bedroom. My cousin's new wife asked innocently, "So when are you getting married?" The table went silent. "She can't," my mother answered for me. "She has responsibilities." I excused myself and called Sarah. "I know it's been 2 years," I said, my voice shaking. "But if that job offer is still open." "It's not," she said gently. "But I could make some calls." When I got the job offer, I sat in my rental car and cried for an hour. I waited until after dinner to tell them. "I got a job in Seattle. I'm moving next month." My father's fork clattered to his plate. "What about us? You can hire a caregiver." My mother's face went white. "You're breaking a sacred tradition. 6 generations, 7 generations of trapped youngest children." I interrupted. "It ends with me. If you leave," my father finally said, his voice hold, "don't bother coming back. You'll get nothing when we die." "I don't want your money," I said. "I want my life." I moved to Seattle with 2 suitcases and $800. It's been 5 years now. I'm a nurse practitioner, married to a wonderful man I met at work. We're expecting our first child. Last month, my sister called. "Dad's in the hospital again. Mom's asking for you." I booked a flight that same day. When I walked into his room, my mother looked up with tears in her eyes. "You came," she whispered. As I prepared to leave, my mother grabbed my hand. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I was wrong to trap you. I still live in Seattle. My parents visit twice a year now, and they adore their grandson. The tradition died with me, and somehow, we're all better for it."